Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will look at changing the subject of an equation. So the subject of an equation is the pronumeral that's by itself. So we're looking at rearranging equations like this. So if you were to graph this, it would be a straight line, but the equation of the line is not in gradient intercept form. So there are many instances where we have a line whose equation is like this, but we need to get it in the form y equals mx plus b. In this equation in black, y is the subject because it's by itself. So we want to rearrange this equation so y is by itself. So how exactly do we do that? Well, we just treat this like an equation and undo everything that's been done to, in this case, y. So what I would do first is subtract 3x from both sides, and then we simply divide each side by -4. So you got to divide everything by -4. Divide -4y by -4. We divide 24 by -4, and we divide -3x by -4, so it becomes positive. So now it's in this form. We know that the gradient's 3/4, the y-intercept is 6. All right, let's look at some more challenging examples of changing the subject. So I'm going to rearrange this equation here to make x the subject. This is a little more challenging, but we're still going to follow the process of undoing what's been done to x. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 over y to both sides. So I've almost got x by itself, but here x isn't the subject, 1 over x is. So I can get x by itself if I move the 1 and the fraction line over here. So I have 1 over 2z plus 1 over y. Of course, that's not really simplified. So let's go ahead and simplify it. I'm going to make the denominator here into a single fraction. So I need to write 2z as 2zy over y. That way the two fractions here have the same denominator and I can add them together. So that will just become 1 over 2zy plus 1 over y. Now, when you take 1 divided by a fraction, all you do is flip it. For example, 1 divided by 3/4, remember, is the same as 1 times 4 over 3. It's just 4 over 3. When you have 1 divided by a fraction, you just flip it. So 1 divided by this fraction here, I simply just flip the fraction. So I get x equals y over 2zy plus 1. X here is the subject and we're done. Let's look at one more example. So here I have a formula in which m is the subject. I'm going to make n the subject. So let's undo what's been done to n. So first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the square root by squaring both sides. So square m. Now if I square this side, as I said, I'm just going to get rid of the square root. Okay, so what do I do now? Well, I want to get rid of this fraction, so I'm going to times each side by the denominator, n minus 1. So I go m squared times n, m squared times minus 1. So now I have n in more than one spot. I need to put n to one spot. So what I'm going to do is take my m squared n and minus n, and I am going to add m squared to both sides. That way, all the n's are on one side of the equation, everything else is on the other side of the equation. So I can get n to one spot here by factorizing. If I take out a common factor of n, I'm left with m squared minus 1. That's what I wanted. I wanted n in only one spot. Now I have it, and I can simply divide each side by m squared minus 1. So I get n equals 1 plus m squared over m squared minus 1. And then I'm done. N is the subject. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.